Welcome to Finally Fettled, the podcast where cannabis meets conversation and maybe a little chaos.
We're your hosts,
Jackie
and Tori, here to keep it real about our cannabis journeys, share some laughs, and potentially even drop a little knowledge along the way.
We're all about making cannabis fun, approachable, and a bit less intimidating, whether you're a seasoned smoker or just kinda curious.
So sit back, spark up, and let's explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
Responsibly, of course. Let's get this sesh started.
Do not use cannabis if you're under the age of 21. Keep cannabis out of the reach of children. Please consume responsibly.
Ooh, welcome to Finally Fettled. Today we are here with our friend Scottie, who also works with us at Fine Fettle. She is a pro at consuming responsibly, and today she's going to share some tips and tricks for socializing while fettled without being a dweeb about it. Nobody wants to be a dweeb, but Scottie.
Hi, Scottie.
Hi.
Yes, tell us about you. First, tell us about your personal journey with cannabis and also your journey at Fine Fettle or just in the industry period.
Okay. It helped me through a really personal time, and when I went through that life transition, I wanted to then pursue something in the cannabis world where I could also make people feel relieved and tell them my personal experience. And so that's exactly what I did with my time in Willimantic. I was a bud tender originally and then worked my way up as an inventory manager right at the start of AU. And then we opened our Manchester location, and I was the inventory manager there as well. And when we were growing as a company, our purchaser, Eric, really needed some help. So
shout out to Eric.
Yeah, shout out to Eric. Great guy. And so I kind of just went up to him and gave him some ideas of how I could help him out, and from there we made something work, and I started to help him with a lot of our online things of creating our catalog entries. So whenever you're on the menu and you look at the product profile, like I used to do that, and now our good friend Daniela, she owns that aspect of it.
Shout out to Daniela too.
Yeah.
Daniela.
She's a magical fairy when it becomes all technology. It's great. So yeah, as we just grew as a company, I really saw some gaps that needed to be filled, and we made things work. And I love my job and what I do. Right now I really help with in-store teams with training and being there as a helping hand whenever they need it. And yeah, it's been a great time.
I love that. That's awesome. All right, another really important question we have for you is, what is your favorite Trader Joe's food item, snack, whatever, munchie, dinner, whatever, fruit, I don't know.
I think it's going to be the big tub of the mini chocolate chip cookies.
Ooh! Yeah. I haven't gotten those before, but now I might have to.
Yeah, they're super dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. All right. Tori, do you want to talk about what we are consuming today?
Yes, I absolutely do. Today we are consuming responsibly the Lighthouse Laughing Buddha Disposable Vape. This is a sativa, very uplifting, energizing, happy vibes. And Lighthouse is a Connecticut brand, and they're kind of known for making these live resin disposable vapes.
Yes, I love the Lighthouse vapes. They're honestly my favorite in Connecticut, I would say.
Same. Yeah, the Laughing Buddha is like my go-to. I always have it in my purse,
Yeah,
for emergency purposes.
Always.
Yep. I love a vape, honestly. In a public setting, it's great. So easy, convenient, doesn't smell.
Yeah.
And they are like a higher concentrated oil, so you need less. You can take one or two hits and it gets the job done instead of smoking like an entire joint.
Right.
Agreed.
Do vapes make you guys cough more? Because they make me cough more, and I don't know why.
Do you notice it more often with certain types of products?
Yes.
Like a disposable versus a vape cartridge, or from strain to strain?
I think from strain to strain more so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't vape too much, but I always have one, just in case.
Exactly. Me too. I don't use it because my tolerance does go up whenever I use it. So I don't use them that often.
Same.
But do you want to know what is actually really weird? I sneeze a lot when I vape. Does that happen to you guys? No.
I don't think so.
It might be a certain strain, but I haven't really looked into it too much. But I do sneeze.
Maybe beta-caryophyllene makes you sneeze. Was the pepper?
Maybe.
No. Or is it myrcene with the... No. No, caryophyllane's peppery, right? That's one of its profiles.
I believe so.
See, I know things.
We know terpenes.
I know stuff about things. So when you guys do get a vape, are you finding that you're getting more like carts and pods, or are you getting disposables? And like why or why not?
I typically have always gotten just like vape cartridges. But for me, the thing is, vapes do last me a very long time because I don't hit them every day. I usually just use it when I'm out and about, not really at home, because if I'm at home, I'm just going to smoke a joint or use a piece of glass. But I try to stay away from disposables of like purchasing them just because of how wasteful they can be.
I know.
They're
so easy.
They are easy. I know.
Especially if you're just like on the go, like, oh, I left my stuff at home, I'm just gonna go get a disposable.
Yeah.
But I have so many batteries.
I have so many
batteries.
Wow. And do you know what, though? There are some people who are doing some really fun things with the vapes, like the vibrating vape. Every time you take a hit, it vibrates a little.
Was it the Aeropod one?
Yes,
I think
right?
so, yes.
That one's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. Yeah. And then have you seen, like, Cookies does this, and a few other people are starting to do it now, like the dual cartridge vapes?
Yes.
Yeah, they sell, like, batteries where you can do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you're saying this is a disposable?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a disposable. Yeah. And
I think Perpetual also does the dual.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think I'm right.
So
I'll have to fact check you on that.
So these are essentially, there's like 2 cartridges in one device, so you can pick which strain you want to consume, or I think there's options too to consume them both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it is convenient. Like, I know a lot of times they'll do like one sativa, one hybrid, or like a sativa indica. So you only have to buy one device and it has them both already in it.
Best of both worlds.
That's it.
Right. It's kind of cool. They are doing some cool things. And I kind of like the pods, the PAX pods.
Yeah, PAX pods are definitely still a fan favorite of mine.
Yeah, and they actually, I have noticed with PAX, I don't really seem to cough as much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I really like their mango one for nighttime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still have the one that they gave us back in like October because I just don't hit them that much.
I know.
And I have like a few that I just like have had for a while and I just hit them here and there. I keep a good indica one on my nightstand.
Me too.
You know, just like in case.
Yeah.
But I hardly hit it.
I know. I have my, actually, also by Lighthouse, their Moonlight vape.
Yes, that's the one I have on my nightstand.
Yeah. Guys, I had a thought and I forgot it.
I did too, honestly.
Also, one of my favorite things about PAX is when they do their engraving, and you can get your battery engraved custom with whatever design you want. Mm-hmm. Mine is so cute. I love it. It's so cool how they do that.
I know, and I put Sativa Diva on mine.
Heck yeah.
Wow, that's adorable.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I did have another thought, and it was about a vape. Guys, I remember. Did anybody try Tiger's Milk when it came from Affinity?
No. What is that? A hybrid?
It is a indica, I believe. An indica cart. It had like crazy terps on it. Yeah. We got it in when I worked in Newington, and I think I have like a drop of it left still, like in the little chamber. Mm. But that, like, Affinity, if you're listening, can you bring Tiger's Milk back, please? I want more Tiger's Milk. Yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend Tiger's Milk.
I'll have to give it a try next time it's in store.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, very cool. Scottie, what is your favorite strain?
In general? Well, I have to say, I have also been really loving the Laughing Buddha lately. Honestly, for like the past 6 months, I've been carrying this with me to all the shows that I go to because I know that I'm going to get what I want with it every single time, which is uplifting, happy, and just always chill vibes.
Yeah, absolutely. I have like a backstock of Laughing Buddha vapes, because I stockpile them.
Yeah.
They're so good.
All right, Scottie. So I know, like you're saying, you go to a bunch of shows and stuff. I feel like you are someone who is very good at Consuming Responsibly when you're out and about, hanging out with friends. Talk to us about some tips and tricks you have, kind of what you do.
Yeah, so when I go out to shows with my friends, I always like to have edibles on me. It's just really chill, and you can pop it whenever you want. And
Convenient.
Yeah, it's convenient. You're not making any crazy smell that people seem to always have some type of attitude about. But yeah, so I always have the wild gummies from our Massachusetts West Springfield store. I love those. Those have a amazing taste, and I always have a really good time with them.
They're so nice, you guys. Check out the Wild gummies if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
The grapefruit flavor especially, it tastes like real grapefruit.
It does.
Yeah.
And they're so good.
And they taste like naturally like flavored, not like super artificial flavor.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah. The consistency is also great.
So good. I don't like a jelly mushy gummy. It's gotta be like a true gummy.
Yeah.
Like a fruit snack.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, gummy bear.
They also have really good ratios as well.
Yes.
Yes. We were talking about that in the last episode.
Yes.
Yeah, so I always like to have like a THC to CBG when I go to shows, or a CBD, because then I know at least like I will also be calm and I won't be too paranoid. Sometimes that happens like when I'm in social settings, so I really try to pay attention to like the ratios and the terpenes of products, so that way I know like I'll be okay.
Right.
Nothing will happen.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So walk us through your typical night out. If a lot of us here, a lot of our listeners are what we like to call California sober, where we only consume cannabis.
Yeah.
So walk us through how you can do that responsibly without getting too paranoid out with your friends.
All right. So we always start with dinner. You always have to make sure that you are fed and you're not like consuming on an empty stomach. Mm-hmm. Always make sure that you're hydrated as well. Like water is always essential no matter what. Mm-hmm. But if you're like me, I get cotton mouth and I always need to have water on me. But so before I do anything, like I always make sure I eat, because I've had experiences where I haven't eaten and then I go and consume and I just kind of feel way too paranoid or a little like nauseous and dizzy. And I was like, okay, I can avoid that by just eating. And then when I go out, it's usually at a bar, so I'll have a gummy with me, or I'll hit a vape outside because it's much more discreet. Or, sometimes when you're on the way to a function and it's in a walking distance, I'll smoke a joint. Yeah. But I will always make sure that, like, I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to make sure that I'm safe and make sure that I have all my essentials on me.
That's awesome. That is really good advice. What advice do you have for the people who want to be able to go out and, use cannabis out with their friends, but they just get too paranoid?
I would say, like, before you go out into a social setting, maybe trying it at home and, like, starting with a small dose to really, get a feeling of how you're going to be. I often sometimes will even, like, jot down how I feel with a certain product, so that way I know, like, I can avoid it if it's
I want to be better
time.
about that, to really keep track, because I don't. I really want to start, like, a cannabis journal.
Yeah. There's
so
some...
you know which strains you like.
Yeah.
Right, and what terpenes you like, honestly. Like, I have to stay away from apinene sometimes.
Me too!
It gives me a lot of anxiety.
What is your favorite terpene?
I'd say beta-carotene, for sure, or limonene.
I'm a linalool girly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about the limonene.
Yeah.
Love it. So...
Sorry, that was off topic.
No, but actually somewhat related, a little tip for people who might overconsume and then they start to get that paranoid, anxious feeling. Have you guys heard of this? Putting a black peppercorn on your tongue.
Yes, yeah. I've heard of it, but I have not tried it.
It's because of the myrcene that's in the black peppercorn.
Oh.
So that'll kind of counteract the THC and kind of relax it.
All right, guys, keep peppercorns on your person.
Well, it's actually crazy you say that, because you can also
He's like, I have one in my pocket.
I wish. But you could also swallow a few if you have, like, an upset stomach, and it will help relieve any, like, gas or bloating, nausea. Yeah. So you feel like just pop 5 whole ones after eating a meal or something, and you feeling a little weird in your stomach.
No way.
Yeah.
I gotta get me some peppercorns.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Right? I know. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, so I always like to try a product at home in the comfort and the safe space, so that way if I, get a little too inside of my head, then at least I could sit down and journal about it. Like, I always try to make sure that when I am consuming, I'm going to try and do something that is either creative or I have an outlet if I'm having a bad time with it. Or, sometimes you just have to sit there in silence and ride it out.
Right. Do you have any, like a story from a time when you got really paranoid that was, like, maybe scary in the moment, but now looking back, you're like, it's kind of funny?
Yeah, it was definitely, like, my first time ever ripping a bong. Yeah, I was in this... in my home, and my sister was there with me, so she was able to help me, but I was more silly than, like, scared, but I was trying to eat a cookie for, like, an hour, and I just had cotton mouth, and I was laughing about it, because I was like, time doesn't feel real, but, like, I've been trying to eat this cookie for an hour, and it feels like 5 minutes, like, and then I started to see, like, a little, like, green and purple, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I was just like, I went right to sleep.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is, like, the first time I ever dabbed. I was freaking out for, like, a hot minute there. I was like, I could feel, like, my heart beating, and then I, like, was getting paranoid, and I was like, wait, how do I breathe? Am I breathing right now? And then I was, like, holding my breath, and I was, like, trying to breathe normal, but I couldn't breathe normal because I was just thinking about breathing so much.
Yeah, no, sometimes I do, like, notice myself when I'm too stoned and feeling a little weird, I do notice that my breathing pattern changes, and I'm like, okay, now I need to hone in on my breathing and just, like, sit there and kind of, like, meditate. Almost,
yes,
I
totally get that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of this story, but it's kind of funny, so I'm going to tell you guys. We had a playhouse in the backyard that my grandfather, like, built. It's nothing major, it's just a little playhouse. And anyway, all the doors and windows were wooden, and they had these, like, wooden knobs that you just closed on the outside to lock the doors. So me and my friends were like, yeah, let's go bake out the playhouse. And it was, like, a windy day. So we were in the playhouse. We shut the door, but we couldn't lock it, obviously, because you can only lock it from the outside. Mm-hmm. But it was a windy day. And when we went to leave the baked-out playhouse, it was locked. We were all locked in the playhouse, you guys. Like, my mom was going to be coming home soon. My friend was going to be getting picked up. So we were so, like, paranoid, bugging. Like, we were, like, running into the door trying to get out. And luckily, we had a cell phone, and I called my neighbor, who was just, like, a few years older. And I was like, girly pop, I need you to come and get us out of this playhouse. And when she did, she, like smoke was just billowing out of the playhouse.
You're so lucky she was home.
I know. So
that is so funny.
Yeah. It was, like, scary in the moment, but looking back now, I'm like, that's a story right
That's
there.
hilarious.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time getting fettled here with Scottie.
Exciting news. If you guys have any questions or funny stories or comments, you can now email us at podcast@finefettle.com.
Please write to us. We would love to hear from you guys, and even just, like, tell us what you want us to talk about, or if you have any questions, or if you want to share a funny story, we would love to hear it. You can also follow us on Instagram at Finely Fettled and on X at FineFettle420. And guys, don't forget,
please consume responsibly.
Bye!
Bye!
Thanks, Scottie.
Do not use cannabis if you are under the age of 21. Keep cannabis out of the reach of children. Please consume responsibly.